All right, I'm back. Last year, at the end of the year, if you'd have told me that just about every video I put out this year would feature the words Highland Park in the title, I would have never believed it. But here we are yet again with another Highland Park update. Okay, I got an email last week telling me that I got an order on its way, that I had an order on its way from Highland Park, which I didn't order anything from them. So I thought, okay, that's my gasket. And I looked at the email, and the email said I was getting 3 stainless steel nuts, and that's it. And that kind of made me mad, because to be honest with you, the stainless steel nut's not going to do me any good when I can't use the tumbler because the barrel doesn't work. Okay, so I had watched, Highland Park actually has a video on YouTube comparing the Lortone QT12 to their 12-pound tumbler. And I came real close to doing a video where I said, okay, I'm going to do that too. Now you see my QT12 right in front of you right now. It's actually in use, functioning perfectly, everything you could want it to be. And here's my comparison. There's the Highland Park sitting on a shelf because it doesn't work. Now, I'm glad I didn't actually do that, because here's the thing. That email, it said I had a package with 3 stainless steel nuts coming, and it didn't say that when they came in there were going to be 2 packages. I never got an email from the other package. The other package has not 1 but 2 new gaskets. Now, here's the thing. I want to show you this. I was told about a month ago that when I got my gasket, it was going to be one of the old gaskets, and I figured that's going to buy me about 9 more weeks. Okay, now let me show you something. This is the old gasket. When I hold it by the corner, notice what it does. Okay, here's the new one. I don't think this is one of the old ones. This is absolutely beefier than the old one. So I'm pretty sure I got not only 1 but 2 of the new gaskets, and I got the 3 stainless steel nuts. Okay, I don't know how these gaskets are going to work out, but I will say completely honestly that I would, if these things have a hole in them in 9 weeks, I would be highly surprised. I suspect that they're even beefier than the Lortone gaskets. You can feel a difference. I knew as soon as I took it out of the box, this isn't one of the old gaskets. So, here's the thing. I don't complain to companies a whole lot. I am perfectly capable of going full Karen if I need to. But all I've ever asked of any company is, if there's a problem, do what you can to make it right. Now, time-wise, I wasn't real happy with how long this took. But, it looks like they've made it right, and they've done the best they could. And I will say that from day one, they were always friendly, cordial, and they, like I said, they talked the talk, but they weren't walking the walk. Okay, well, now they're walking the walk. So I have 2 new gaskets, and now the big debate is, should I go ahead and put the 12-pound back and run it, or just keep going with my QT12 for a while? I really don't want to run 2 12-pound tumblers right now, but we'll see. I wanted to empty the barrels that I had running. See, I had the 12 and I had 2 3s running. Okay, so that it would be quiet down here when I made the video. But another thing that I had noticed the last couple of weeks, when I opened up the 3-pound barrels, the bad barrel, like I've mentioned before, I got 2 different barrels. The crappy one, 2 weeks in a row, most of the grit was sitting on the bottom, and the rocks didn't feel right. Like it essentially didn't do any good with all the grit on the bottom. So this week I actually videoed when I opened those barrels up, and it turns out, I'm gonna give away, this week it didn't do it. Okay, so this week it functioned perfectly, but the last 2 weeks the good barrel was fine. The bad barrel, most of the grit was sitting on the bottom after a week, and I'm actually running pretty much the same kind of rocks in both of them. you know, I'm doing everything else the same. So I don't know if not having those baffles doesn't keep things moving enough, you know, but in any case, in my opinion, I was told those two barrels will function the same, which I said at the time, if they'd function the same, there would be no reason to upgrade. So why did they put out an upgraded version? But in any case, it looks like that's a non-issue. I am going to do something, so I'm going to stop this and reset up, because I'm just out of curiosity. I want to see something, and I'll share with you. You'll be finding out as I find out. Okay, in the ongoing saga of the two different 3-pound barrels, this is the good one. That's why I put tape on it, so I would know. This is the crap one. Okay, and I've noticed something the last couple of weeks, and I want to see if it's the same this week. And you can see I have not opened these up yet, so when I open them up, you'll be seeing it the same as I'm seeing it. So let's see if we still have the same thing that I've been noticing. Alright. Got the lid off. There's the lid. Actually, it looks like it may be alright this week. Alright, now, let me see. Yeah, it's okay this week. What I've noticed the last couple of weeks is that half my grit was stuck to the bottom of the barrel. And I'm wondering if part of the problem was this one doesn't have baffles. It's not keeping things mixed up like the other one would. I've not had that problem with the other one. So it's not a 100% thing, but it has definitely been happening. I don't know if it's the fault of the barrel or not, but these are the same rocks that were in there last week, so it's nothing different. But last week when I opened it up, like I said, most of the grit was on the bottom, and the rocks did not feel smooth. They felt rough. So basically I think I wasted a week, but they do feel smooth this week. So looks like that was a non-issue. Okay, just for kicks and giggles, this is my scale, and I have it set for 0. This is the replacement, brand new, never been used Lortone gasket for a 12-pound tumbler. Okay, and it weighs 2.6 ounces. Okay, so 2.6 ounces for the Lortone gasket. This is the original with the hole in it. Highland Park. It says 2.9 ounces. I find that hard to imagine. There's no way that is heavier than that. No, it is heavier. I don't know, maybe it's the composition of the rubber. So, alright. Well, let's see what the brand new 4.7 ounces. Okay, well, if the rubber that Highland Park is using, if the rubber they are using is not as good, they sure as heck put a lot more of it in there. So this is absolutely without question a new one. And I don't know if you can see this on there, but it's got a big raised up thing in the center with the little hole in the middle there to keep that from happening. Okay, the old one, there's barely a little dimple there over top of where it's thinner, so that's essentially why it's going to be a problem there all the time. So at this point in time, Highland Park has made me whole, and I have no complaints. We'll see if these gaskets work better. I really, like I said, I'll be highly surprised if they don't. I got 3 of the stainless steel nuts. I actually am a little nervous about using those because here's the thing, and I'm a high school teacher. I'm not an engineer, okay? And I know I don't understand a lot of this stuff the way, you know, other people do. But here's the thing, from the way I understand it, the brass nuts are softer. And that is perfectly obvious when you see the piles of dust you get after a week of tumbling with that one. But the way I would expect it, I'm thinking, I'm going to go grab one. This is the brass one. I'm thinking I have probably widened that gap there. This is harder, and it's probably not as wide anymore. And I'm wondering, why is it that now this one shouldn't catch where this one did? You know, and the thing is, it hasn't happened since the first time I used it. I did mention that when the second email I got from Hamilton Park, they told me they were going to send me the back guide for the 12 pounds so that I could put that on. I did not get that. So I can forgive them on that. I did see that there is a way to open up the tumbler, put a jumper on part of the board there, and it would actually reverse the polarity for the engine, and the barrel would spin the other direction, which, like as I mentioned before, should solve the problem, because then if it hangs up, it could only tighten the nut, not loosen it. So we'll see on that. I don't want to do that. To be honest with you, I have no interest, like I said, in opening up my machine and start adding wires to it. I haven't had a blowout since the first time I used it. I think I've worn that nut enough that it's not hanging up anymore. I have not, and I don't have a metal file. I have a lot of other tools. I don't have a metal file. Maybe I'm going to go grab a metal file, and I'll work at rounding the edges on those guides so that there shouldn't be any further issues. All right, so that'll about wrap it up on this part. I don't remember if I stopped the video, so it may be that you saw me opening the 3-pound barrels already. It may be that you didn't. It may come after this. I think it's going to be before this, but whatever. Yeah, that's my great editing skills. All right, so I may add a little bit on after this if I have some neat rocks I want to show, and we'll go from there. Well, all is as it should be. The barrels are running again. I did not put the stainless steel nuts on. I think what I'm going to do is next week I'm going to switch out the 12s, and I'm going to clean the guides so that hopefully I don't get grease all over my hands from now on when I'm changing out the barrels. Okay, so that might be the plan there. Let me see if I can get this to where I want it. Right there. This is the haul from this week. I had a lot because the 1 3-pound barrel, I just threw, when I saw it didn't tumble right last week, I just threw everything back in. So most of that barrel was ready this week. I'm going to save up so I can do a Thumblers run with my 18-pound Thumblers. This is going to be spectacular. I don't know what it is. It's from Michigan. Might be Jasper, but that is going to be spectacular. This is really cool. This is definitely quartz with something in it. I don't know exactly what, but that's going to be very cool. So, got some neat rocks coming up. I'll see you next video.